Hello class, in this video I want to talk to you about WeBuilder's language browser. And the language browser is a tool built into WeBuilder that you are going to love because it allows you to tag your documents at a much faster rate. So let's get right to it. Now, to access the language browser, click on View and Language Browser, and voila, to the left you have your language browser that appears. And in this language browser is really two parts. Now, one part of it is empty right now, but it will be populated in a moment because we're going to be working with some of the tags. These tags in the language browser are alphabetically listed from A all the way down to W. Now, who can remember what the A tag means? Anchor, that's correct. You got it. The anchor tag allows us to link from one page to another. So, what we're going to talk about besides the language browser is we're going to talk a little bit about the divs and possibly the span. Okay? Now, first of all, before we do anything, let's just take a look at this document in its current state. If we were to preview it, you notice that all of the content is going to run together. And see, you have it here. It's all running together. But when you look at it in the code editor, it is in 3 separate paragraphs. Although it is visually sectioned off, we have to tag it so that when we view it on the web page, it appears the same way that it does in the code editor. Now, to do that, let's take this first paragraph that begins with Hong Kong Phooey. What we want to do is select the entire paragraph all the way to the exclamation mark. And using our language browser, let's go down to the P for paragraph. Now, we could use the paragraph tag, which is right there, but let's just focus on using the language browser. Let's double click on it, and voila, you have that paragraph. Let's do the same for the top cat paragraph. So you're going to select that entire paragraph and double click the P tag again. And for the last paragraph, Barnaby the Bear, let's select the entire paragraph and double click the P as well. Now when we view our page, it is sectioned off just like it appears in the code editor. Okay? Let's go back to the code editor. And now let's focus on using div tags. Now what we want to do is we want to place each of these paragraphs into its own personal div tag so that we will be able to style it in another video. Then after we have placed all 3 of these paragraphs into a div, in its own div, we're going to place all 3 of the paragraphs into one major div. And you will see the purpose of all of these divs in the next couple of videos. Okay, so let's focus on putting the first paragraph into its own div. Now, in order to put it into its own div tag or own section, select the entire paragraph including the paragraph tags. And in your language browser, you're going to go and find the div in the D's. Double click on it, and now you have placed it into a div. Now let me explain something to you about a div tag. If you recall, in class, I've expressed to you that the div tag can contain 2 attributes, which are things that can make these div tags a little bit more special or allow them to stand out. And these attributes are either the ID or the class. Now, when you apply an ID attribute to a div tag, that will give you the power to style this particular tag uniquely. If you apply a class attribute to div tags and give them the same class name, that will allow you to style those paragraphs alike. But for this purpose, or for this exercise, we're going to give all of these paragraphs their own unique div tags. So what we need to do is go inside of the opening div tag, press the space bar, and here comes using the second part of this language browser. You see down underneath the div tag you have access key, class, and so on. We want to find the ID attribute and we want to double click on it. At which time it places ID, the equal sign, and a set of double quotation marks. Now in between those double quotation marks, you can give this div tag a unique name. So since this is talking about a superhero dog, let's name it Dog, D-O-G. Okay? We're going to do the same thing with the second paragraph. We're going to select the entire paragraph, including the paragraph tags. And we're going to double click div. And inside of that opening div tag, you're going to hit spacebar and double click ID in the attribute section. Now, this is dealing with a cat, so let's just give this div the ID name cat. And lastly, we're going to put this particular paragraph, Barnaby the Bear, into its own div. And since it's referencing a bear, let's give the div tag the ID name of bear. So let's do div, double click div. And inside the opening div, click, hit your space bar, double click ID, and give it bear. There we have it. Now, at this point, if you view your web page or you preview it, it's not going to look any different, because remember, the div tag's purpose comes into play when you start building a style sheet to fancy up your document. So it's not going to look as if you've done anything, but you've done some powerful stuff, but you just haven't realized it yet. Okay, let's go back to the code editor. Alright, now we must place all of these divs in one gigantic div tag, and we're going to give that div the name main, M-A-I-N. So this div tag will hold all the rest of them. So you're going to start with that first div paragraph or div tag, and you're going to select all the way down to enclose the last div tag for Barnaby the Bear. And we're going to do double click div, and inside that div tag you're going to space over, and you're going to do ID, and we're going to give it main. Now what I suggest that you do is let this div tag remain on a line by itself so that you can understand the purpose of this particular div. Okay? So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to place that closing div tag down by itself. So now it stands out. Now, one other thing you may want to do. Let's just take a look and see if there's a tag for comment. And it seems to be bypassing me. Let's see. Until I remember where it is in the language browser, let's just utilize our insert menu. So click to the right of the div called main and go to insert, and let's go to block comment. And let's place ourselves a comment there that says something to the effect: this div holds all other div tags, period. And we'll leave it at that because it's self-explanatory. This div tag holds all other div tags. And just in case you may forget, you may want to put a comment down here at the bottom. So let's go back to insert and block comment, and we can say closing tag for the main div, period. And there you have it. I hope that you've learned a lot in this video, and we'll continue on in the next. I'll see you in a little bit.